Hi everyone. In this video, I want to talk about the quadratic formula. So if we're given some quadratic equation of the form ax squared plus bx plus c, the solutions for this equation are going to be given by x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2a. Okay, now this is an extremely powerful tool in math. So if you're given any quadratic equation set to zero, you are absolutely able to find its solutions, whether they be real or complex, just by using this formula. So let's go ahead and see what we can do here. Okay, so here we are given 3x squared minus 8x plus 1 equals 0. The very first step we need to do is we need to identify what a, b, and c are. So here, a is going to be equal to 3, b is going to be equal to negative 8, and c is going to be equal to 1. And now all we have to do is take these exact um, um, coefficients and plug them into the quadratic formula to find out what our solutions are going to be. Okay, so we have x is equal to negative 8 plus or minus the square root of negative 8 squared minus 4 times 3 times 1. And this is all, the whole thing, everything here is going to be over 2 times a or 2 times 3. Okay, so we have, if we simplify this a little bit, 8 plus or minus the square root of 64 minus 4 times 3 times 1 is 12. This is all going to be over 6. Okay? We simplify this a little more. We have 8 plus or minus the square root of 52 all over 6. Okay? So we can take 52. 52 is divisible by 4. So we have this is going to be equal to 8 plus or minus the square root of 4 times 13 over 6. Okay, we can do a little better. We have 8 plus or minus. If we split these apart, we're going to end up with 2 times the square root of 13. This is going to be over 6. And what we'll notice is that each term here is divisible by 2. So if we divide everything out by 2, we're going to end up with 4 plus or minus the square root of 13 all over 3. So that is going to be your two solutions. So your two solutions for this equation are x equals 4 plus the square root of 13 divided by 3, or x equals 4 minus the square root of 13 divided by 3. So these are your two solutions. You don't necessarily have to go back and check these. You can if you want. You will get the right answer, but these are your two solutions. I'm okay if you write x equals 4 plus or minus the square root of 13 over 3, or you can write them out separately as these two separate solutions. Either way is fine with me, whatever makes more sense to you. Okay, let's do another one. Here we have 2x squared minus 6x minus 3 is equal to 0. Okay, so I want to be a little more clear here. It's extremely important that your quadratic equation is set to 0 before you can do anything with the quadratic formula. Okay, that's extremely important that you set it equal to 0. If it's not set equal to 0, you're going to get some very strange results. You might get results, but they're not going to be the correct results. Okay, so keep that in mind. All right, so we find our A, B, and C here. So we have A is equal to 2, B is equal to negative 6, and C is equal to negative 3. So let's go ahead and plug this in. So we have X is equal to negative B, or negative 6, plus or minus the square root of B squared, so negative 6 squared, minus 4 times 2 times negative 3, all over this whole thing, everything up here is going to be over 2 times all over 2a, so 2 times 2. Okay, so if we simplify this, we'll get 6 plus or minus the square root of negative 6 squared is 36. Okay, we have minus 4 times 2 times 3, or you could say minus 4, so again minus 8 times negative, so this will be plus 24, and this is all going to be over 4. And we can rewrite this as 6 plus or minus the square root of 60 over 4. Okay, and we can do a little better. We can split this apart as 6 plus or minus the square root of 4 times the square root of 15 all over 4, and that's equal to 6 plus or minus 2 times the square root of 15 over 4. We can divide out everything by 2. So we will get 3 plus or minus the square root of 15 over 2. So your answer is going to be x equals 3 plus the square root of 15 over 2, or x equals 3 minus the square root of 15 all over 2. Okay, let's do another one. Make some more room for us here. Okay, so we have 2x squared plus 3x minus 7. So again, we got to identify our a, b, and c. So a is equal to 2, b is equal to 3, and c is equal to negative 7. Okay, so here we can just plug everything in again. X equals negative b, so negative 3 plus or minus the square root of b squared, so 3 squared minus 4 ac, so 4 times 2 times negative 7. And this is all going to be over 2a, or 2 times 2. So we get negative 3 plus or minus the square root of 9 times, okay, so 4 times 2 times negative 7. So we have a minus and negative, so this will become a plus. So we have 4 times 2 times 7. So 7 is going to give us 56. And this is all going to be over 4. Okay, if we add 9 to that, we're going to get negative 3 plus or minus the square root of 65 over 4. Okay, let's see. And I don't think we can do much with 65, now that I think about it. So 65, this is probably about as good as it's going to get, actually. So our two solutions are going to be x equals negative 3 plus the square root of 65 all over 4, or negative 3 minus the square root of 65 all over 4. Okay, so these are going to be your two solutions here. Okay, let's do one more just for good measure. So here we have 6x squared plus 4x minus 3 equals 0. Remember, we're set it equal to 0, so we're good. So a is going to be equal to 6, b is going to be equal to 4, and c is going to be equal to negative 3. So let's go ahead and plug everything in. So x equals negative 4 plus or minus the square root of b squared, so 4 squared minus 4 times 6 times negative 3, 4ac. This is all going to be over 2 times a, so 2 times 6. Okay, so we have negative 4 plus or minus the square root of 16. Okay, we have minus and negative again, so this will become plus. So we'll have 4 times 6 times 3 is going to give us 72. This is all going to be over 12. Okay. So now we have negative 4 plus or minus the square root of 88 all over 12. Okay, and we can rewrite this as negative 4 plus or minus the square root of 4 times the square root of 22 all over 12. So we'll have negative 4 plus or minus 2 times the square root of 22 over 12. And we'll notice that everything here is divisible by 2. So negative 4, 2, and 12 are all divisible by 2. So we're going to divide out 2. So that's going to give us negative 2 plus or minus the square root of 22 all over 6. So your answer is going to be x equals negative 2 plus the square root of 22 over 6, or x is equal to negative 2 minus the square root of 22 all over 6. Okay.